Hey guys, Ron here with Rising Sun Properties. Today I'm showing two properties in Kyoto. The second one is a better property. Again, you'll see for the price range what you can get, but the location is great. It's next to a temple and a quiet neighborhood. The first property is very interesting, as you will see. When I'm viewing these properties, I'm not just viewing the properties themselves. I try to get a feel for the neighborhood. A lot of our buyers are not able to come to Japan and kind of, trust in me to check out the area, check out the feel. So I always try to talk to the neighbors when I have a chance. I tried to park in the back and got ran out pretty quickly. A guy said it's private parking and nobody's allowed there. The owner's coming back soon, so I should leave. Fair enough, that's completely fine. I left and parked up the street. At the end of the viewing, I wanted to get a photo of the backside of the property. And a woman came up to me and basically just started yelling at me saying, what are you doing? You're trespassing. I explained very kindly, the best I can in my amazing Japanese, wink, wink. I can speak some Japanese, but not fluent, but enough to communicate and talk to her. And I explained I'm with a real estate agent. She said, no, you're not. I know the agent and it's not you. I explained I am for the buyer. And she just kept saying, dame, 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 which means no good, and she's going to call the cops. So that was the first. I took the photo and went off, and sure enough, I'm pretty sure she called the police. As I was leaving, I saw her running frantically around the house with the phone, looking for me. In the beginning of the video, you see a woman pass by looking at me. I think it's the same woman. The first property, it's not one that I would recommend. A lot of these videos are just to show people what's out there for the price range and what you can get and have a more realistic idea about your budget and the condition of properties in certain areas. So more for educational purposes. If somebody was interested in moving forward, it would be hard for me to, agree with that just because of the neighbor situation. They do not seem to be too friendly with foreigners. Is it because I'm a foreigner? Maybe they'd be that way with a Japanese person, but the first interaction with the neighbors was not a pleasant one, to say the least. So as an agent working for our clients who, again, a lot of people don't come to Japan in person, they kind of trust me to view not only the home, but the area to get a feel for it. This is what I do, and this was an interaction I had. So yeah, that's just part of the game, the real estate game here in Japan, and that's not common, to be honest. A lot of people are very friendly and open, and when I tell them, my client's a foreigner, they're looking, they're like, oh, okay, that's interesting. They don't usually, have any kind of negative reactions to that. This is a little bit different. So anyways, enjoy the views. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe. There's something called the hype likes that is new. We don't have it in Japan. If you like the videos, give it a hype. It helps the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy the tours. Took the Shinkansen to Kyoto Station from Nagoya. It's fall here, my favorite time of year. Plenty of foliage and the leaves are changing colors. Took a trip with the family out to a temple in the forest last week, and it was beautiful. Here's Family Mart. Not Japan unless you see a Family Mart. Here's a drive to the property, and this is where I was parked. There's technically parking in this home, in this property. You'll see it. It's a pretty interesting way to enter the property, and the parking itself, it's this green home right here, tucked back in a quiet neighborhood. So this is a 7.5 million yen property. That's about 50,000 US. 2-story, 6 LDK, 78 square meters, built in 1963, and about a 13-minute walk from Narutaki Station. Here's a layout of the home. You can see the garage, which is right here. And I think the only way to get in the home, this is the front door, basically. I guess you could park a small car in there. Okay, here I am getting into this home in Kyoto. 7.5 million yen, and yeah, pretty interesting so far. My head is almost hitting the ceiling just walking in. And I guess this is a garage right here. I'm gonna show everything in the video, but floor seems soft. I mean, this is an old home and it needs a lot of TLC. That is for sure. So, you know, for this price range, this is about what you're gonna get. My head is hitting the ceiling here on the first floor. Again, I'm 181 centimeters. It's right under 6 foot. The kitchen looks a little better, so let me come through and do the tour and enjoy. And this is what you can get for this price range here in Kyoto. So you see it's pretty cramped in there. The ceilings are a bit low. Don't really see a lot of potential in this property, to be honest. It's quite cheap, but again, all these properties are cheap for a reason. Here's a place for your washing machine. This is probably non-rebuildable, so something to keep in mind. Can you fix it up and renovate it and make it, you know, somewhat livable? Yeah, you know, possibly. But I always recommend people to stretch their budget if possible and spend a little bit more. You'll get a much better quality home. But in the end, it's your money, your budget, and if this is the location, budget, and the kind of home that you're interested in, then we will help you purchase. Again, we help with the entire process and consulting, giving you our feedback and ideas about the property as well. So we are on your team the entire time. This is the kitchen area. Kitchen is quite spacious. That's the second floor. We'll come down those stairs later. There's 2 ways to get up to the second floor. So everything looks pretty dated and needs some tender loving care for sure. Regardless, it's very interesting for me to be able to come to these properties, check them out. You know, this is my job. I wouldn't have the opportunity to do so either outside of that. So always love getting into these homes and seeing what's available within this price range. Here's the kitchen. You know, pretty spacious kitchen. The doors down to the left are interesting. I'm not sure why they're all the way, handles are all the way at the bottom, but there they are. I always like to think what this was like when it was built new and families were living in there, how many people occupied the home, and kind of what life was like. Here you see those, I see these windows all the time with the stars, very dated, kind of 60s, early 70s style, very thin. Don't see a lot of double pane anywhere in Japan, especially with older properties. Wallpaper needs to be redone, obviously. Water was not on. That's a concern for some people because of the piping. Ceilings here in the kitchen are a bit higher, clearing my head at least. Here's some lights. I'm not sure the electricity's on here. I gotta find the breaker. I think it's in this other room. Here is the other room. It's right on my head. Again, for reference, I'm right at 6 foot tall, so kind of give you an idea. Interesting step up into this room. Not sure exactly what it's more of a den or office area. There's the breaker. A lot going on. I didn't touch it, to be honest. There's plenty of natural light coming in, so just left it as it is. Here's some storage. Very interesting wooden handle there. And that garage where we walked in to the left. Again, that is the entranceway, I guess. I didn't see any other way to get in. There's no front door. No back door either, for that matter. Floors were a little bit soft. Here's the one toilet. Everything looks like it could use some updating. So that's kind of the thing as well. Do you want to spend, you know, if you want a cheap property and spend that little, and then knowing that you're going to have to invest money to bring it up to date. Some people want to buy cheap and just kind of upgrade it as the years go by, little by little. That's completely fine. Again, we're doing what you want to do. We just kind of advise, give you our opinion as we're doing these viewings. We've seen a lot of properties, have a lot of experience, and know what to look for with all aspects of buying here in Japan. Nice bay window. Look back down the stairs. And here are a couple rooms upstairs. And then you'll see it kind of swings back, and we'll go back down the other stairs on the other side of the home. Stuff left in the home on a house like this, it's sold as is almost always. Small chance we can negotiate getting that out of there, but for cheap homes, and there's not a lot of stuff in the home, but you'll just have to, buy the home as is. Here's a gas connection. Not sure if it works, but it's there to plug in a gas heater. That's really nice during the winter. Little closet space. Pretty spacious upstairs. Again, very dated, hasn't been updated in quite some time. At the end of the tour of this home, I go outside. You can see a pretty major crack on the wall that has been filled in. So, structurally, there's always going to be issues with homes like this. Quick look back to where we came in the room. That door right there was locked, but you can, we'll get to the other side of it. It just goes through the back part of the house. Bit of a balcony overlooking that parking lot where I got kicked out of and yelled at and had the cops call on me. Gotta love it. Every day's an adventure. Trying to inspect the ceiling, see if I see any leaking. I did see some water leakage and water damage, and I think it's the room off to the right. Oh, right there. Floors were a little bit soft. There's going to be some tilting almost for sure. On the second floor, and this is where my head is at. Coming into this room, it does clear the ceiling, so that's good. And a little bit of clearance there. But yeah, definitely an older home. And this is what you can expect for this price range. Some pretty interesting windows here. Artistic windows. And another bay window here looking off to the front. Checking out the ceilings for any water damage. If there were any water damage here, I think we'd see them. That doesn't look like it's been upgraded any time recently. Something going on right there. Some obvious water damage, which is to be expected. Some sliders, and this is where my head is coming into this room. So some pretty short doorways, that's for sure. Always try to give a bit of perspective of the doorway height while I'm in the home. Here's some more water damage, so something going on this side of the house. We do arrange and manage the inspections for you guys. We pay for them. You just pay us back. A home like this is going to be riddled with stuff from the inspection report, of course. So just, if you're going to buy an old home for around this budget in the city, just be prepared. There will be things that pop up for sure on the inspection report. The main thing is, if you want to buy a home like this, it's just making sure that it's structurally somewhat sound enough that you have confidence in the home for some years to come. The whole idea is, okay, there's been a lot of earthquakes and this thing's been through them all. It's still standing, so it's probably okay for some years as well, but it's definitely something to think about when you're buying. Here's the stairways going back down. This is where we came in. Off down to the right is where the kitchen is. And the shower we saw to the left. So you unlock it, and here is the electric garage door. That again is the front door. Not sure why it's designed that way, but there it is. Still works. And wanted to take a look outside at some of the walls. You see some cracking there. Foundation looked okay. Again, I'm sure something's going to pop up, but I did see quite a big crack on the wall. There it is right there. Runs all the way up the side. And oh yeah, that one right there. So that crack is going through the entire house. That's not what you like to see. That might have been where the water leaking's coming from. And here's one shot from the back before I got ran out. So I didn't really get any videos. I wanted to get out of there before I had to deal with any other issues. Again, I wasn't doing anything wrong or illegal. Here is the second property. It was near this temple. So just about a 3-minute walk from the temple. Nice, quiet little neighborhood. This is more of a home that I could recommend. That's how far it is to the temple. The home is down the street to the right. Quiet little neighborhood. Looks like everyone's living in the homes. Pretty good neighborhood. The home across the street looks pretty new, so that's a good sign. You know, if you're looking at homes and all the houses are empty, that's not a great sign, of course. There's the newer home off to the right, and here is the house we're going into next. A little bit better condition. You'll see it does have its issues. It's 10 million yen, 65K US, 2-story 4K, built in 1967. About an 11-minute walk from the nearest station and a 3-minute walk from the shrine there. And I give a quick little glimpse to the inside of it. So there is the layout of the home, and here it is. Almost for sure non-rebuildable since it's right up against both of the other houses. This is, I'm not sure what's going on in here. It's maybe used as somebody's business or second home, a place to crash. There is the breakers, kind of give you an idea of the date of the home. Built in the 60s. It's the one toilet. Lovely lime green color. And the bath off to the left, but first in the kitchen. Not exactly sure what was going on with the door on there. If that hits the light or something, I'm not, don't know, couldn't figure it out, but there it is. Here's the living room with the kitchen off to the right. And kitchen looks like it's been redone somewhat recently. This isn't from the 60s, of course. Pretty simple kitchen you see in a lot of older homes. Hook up your konro, the gas stove. Vent, didn't want to pull too hard on that thing and break it. Might be working. Looks like it should be. There's the water heater for the sink. Had one of those in my first apartment here in Nagoya. So all this stuff I'm guessing will be removed if you're wanting to purchase, but somebody's using it as an office or a place to crash. Some friends are come over. I'm not exactly sure, but again, I like to put stories together in my head, try to figure out what's going on. Back room, extra room, storage area with an outside storage area as well. Don't remember seeing any water damage. Doesn't mean it's not there. Could be painted over. Sometimes they try to reform it and kind of hide those things. Here's your garage, if you want to call it. Okay, we're in another home and door frames are about to hear on me. Looks like it's the case for all of them. It's a little bit more expensive at 10 million than maybe one I was posting previously in this video, but it's better condition, that's for sure. It's not perfect, still kind of a lower end home. You have some interesting architectural work here, but yeah, better home for the as far as condition goes, and it's a little bit more expensive as well, and probably a better neighborhood. Yeah. Here is there it is again. That's a pretty interesting door. Here's your sink, little storage area under the stairs. That looks like it's been redone. This looks like it has not been redone. Got that baby blue with a small tub and cracking things going on here. Looks like it does have the autofill and auto reheat function, so that's been updated. That's great. Again, for the budget, I think this is a good buy. If you want something with no issues and turnkey, not having to do any kind of renovation stuff like that, then you're going to need to raise your budget. To get outside of the city, it is possible within the 10 million range. But in Kyoto, looking more at the 15, 20 million range, we do help buyers with all budgets. So, our initial call is of no charge, and happy to talk about what you have in mind and expectations you have compared to, what I've seen and what I think is available. This home did feel like it had a bit of a slope. You'll see this door to the left has been redone to offset that. So definitely some tilting going on in this home. Here's one room, and then doorway goes into a second room off to the left. Here's the balcony. You see these doors, they're just, again, I lived in a home built like this where the windows are thin, single pane, not even glazed. The wind is coming straight through them. You'll see in the video, there's cracks in it. Those need to be upgraded. The winter's going to be cold. Summer's going to be hot. Just the way it is. Here's a pretty substantial crack here. And something going on there. On to the second room. That shuts there. And here's that frame. So you see it was reframed. The home is tilting, and they offset that by building this new frame so the door shut. I'm assuming the door was not shutting at all. That's something I always check. You can kind of tell if the house is tilting that way. And if it's reframed with a big gap in the frame, then it's pretty obvious that it's tilting. So again, is this a good buy? For the budget, if this is the area you're looking at and really want to be in Kyoto, this neighborhood seems to be okay. Here is how the windows seal. Not much sealing at all. This is not a balcony, maybe a place for some plants. Looks pretty old. You see again the home across the street's a newer build. And this is what I'm talking about. It's like no glazing, thin windows, air is just coming straight through there. So these are all things to keep in mind. I mentioned it in a video. Someone commented before they actually stayed in one of these homes just to get a feel for it, and they kind of understand, okay, why I say if you can raise your budget, stay away from these kind of homes. But in the end, like I always say, it's up to you. We are working for you. Paint in place for men. Not sure exactly what that is. Old sticker on the wall. And again, just showing how much it's not closing and sealing. You would definitely have to upgrade that. See the homes next door. All these older homes have cracks in them. They're all the same condition. So if you're looking at homes 60s, 70s, I would say even into the mid to late 80s, they're going to have similar conditions. And here's that temple. Quite busy and beautiful. It was a great day. And again, just a 3-minute walk from this temple. So thank you guys so much. If you made it to the end, I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe. If you're interested in purchasing homes here in Japan, reach out. Thank you very much and have a great day.